Okay guys, this is the new APU water pump I'm going to be installing on my 2019 Tripac Evolution. I thought it'd be interesting just to show you, what this looks like before I install it. This here is the temperature sensor. Here's the part number. That just screws in right there, you can see it. This is the pump action itself right there. The thermostat would go right here. There's a gasket and then the thermostat. This is the pulley, would sit on top of this. And as you turn that, you can see that turns the pump. So coolant comes in here, out here. This ties into the engine, and I think you have another outlet here. Pretty interesting. This just screws in. I'll put some plumber's tape on that. See the connection right there. Then what you do is you have a gasket here. Then you have the plate. And there's like 4 screws. All that. So overall, not too bad. Then here's another gasket. This will go up against the engine. So that's what it looks like. APU water pump. It looks like a good DIY project. APU continues to overheat. I've already replaced the thermostat. So now we're going to move on to the water pump. It's the original water pump on there with 8,000 hours. So it wouldn't hurt to change it, see if that solves the problem. It's better to do it now than middle of winter. Alright guys. Okay guys, so I'm in the process of changing my water pump, and here's the placement part. You can see it sits in there like this. Okay. Thermostat sits right on top of there. Here's the thermostat. It goes right there, like that. Housing goes over it like that. Got some coolant. It's fine. Tie that back. Got a collection pan there. Just letting it drip out the hole in the bottom there. This is the Peacock. You drain coolant from here. Okay. Here's the belt. Here's the front of the water pump. This is the pulley. So it's 10 millimeter nuts on there. It's 12 millimeter nuts there. I removed this air duct right here, and that's an 8 millimeter that attaches that clamp. So this goes in there like this. That's 8 millimeter. You pull that right out, get it out of the way. So next we're gonna remove some of these bolts here. There's 3 bolts that holds the water pump in. Here's the water temperature sensor. Cut these zip ties off, disconnect it, undo those 3 bolts, and then you should be ready to go. Now you do have to disconnect this hose. It comes right there. Squeeze clamp. Just get a pair of channel lock pliers, pull that off. So you can see it's dripping, but it's all dripping down to my collection pan. So overall, not too bad. Okay guys, got the old water pump off. Wasn't too bad. So it looks like. Now we'll take this fitting here off and attach it to the new water pump. Here's the new water pump. Okay. We'll take that fitting off there, put it on right there. So you just want to make sure everything looks good. Um, some guys have suggested, watch this shape right here. It has a different shape to it, but you can see that's the same. Okay, there's a gasket that was right here. We'll probably reuse that same gasket. It's metal, so it's like aluminum. Then here you can see there's that hole. There's a hole right there. Three nuts hold that on. 12 millimeter. And I think they're using removable Loctite on the threads. So we have some of that. So this is the old one. This is the new one. Literally, to get to this point took me less than 30 minutes. So we'll take our time, put the new one on, reassemble everything. I expect the whole project can be done around an hour, give or take, if you take your time. So not too hard. So I got the new temperature sensor on there with some plumber's tape. Now I used a crescent wrench because that's pretty large diameter nut there. Got that fitting on. Now I use 18 millimeter box wrench, put that on. Then you notice right there, that's a plug. That's all it is. You take it off the old one and you put it on the new one. So that's where it was on the old one. And for that, I used, let's see here. But I used 250. It's a T50 hex bit. Worked on that real well. So I got the gasket on there. Now one of the guys had suggested that you use a little bit of this blue sealant just to stick the gasket on the side of the engine block there. That'll hold it in place. And then what you'll do is you'll match that up, and then there's 3 bolts, attach it, and then you start reassembling. Okay guys, this project is complete. New water pumps installed. Now I did go back and put some blue sealant around the thermostat seal. So there's the old one right there. I did notice it was leaking a little bit, so I went back and I used some of this. We'll let that sit for a little while before we test it again. Also, there's a plug right there. You got to take that off your old one. Okay. Take it off right there, my thumb is. Put it on the new one. I opened my coolant valves and it came shooting out. There's another plug on the back side right there. So there's 2 plugs. So all in all, about 2 hours from start to finish. I took my time, was very thorough. I even used some dielectric grease on the connector, and I reattached 2 zip ties on that connector. So some of the tools I used was a metric socket set, pair of cutters for the zip ties. I found a crescent wrench was very handy, especially for the sensor, the temperature sensor. It was very large, so that came in handy. A 16, not a 16 millimeter for that fitting right there. That's a compression fitting. That doesn't need any plumber's tape. So I think that was probably about 14 millimeter. This was 16 millimeter. This might have been 18 millimeter or 16 millimeter, something like that. Just a set of box wrenches. You know, have that metric. Pair of vice grips was handy. What happened was, when I took off the pulley, you have a double threaded bolt, and to get the nut off, you might have to use your vice grips to hold one side and a wrench on the other side. Now that's a 10 millimeter nut. You know, a magnetic tray is always handy. Some blue thread locker. So I use the thread locker on the 3 main bolts holding the water pump in, and I use some thread locker on the thermostat bolts. Not too crazy on that. Let's see, what else? 8 millimeter here. Have a drip pan down there. Shop towels come in handy. Now save your old water pump. You see that says KINKI. If you notice right here, it'll say it as well. So you know it's the same part, same manufacturer. You may want to save that old temperature sensor as a spare part. Some plumbing tape that came in handy. I really liked having my hex bit socket set. That came real handy because this T50 is what you needed for this plug right there, or an Allen wrench. That came in real handy. Some other things, you know, a screwdriver. You want to hold that pulley in place while you tighten it, so you're going to need a screwdriver. Might need a pick, a pair of scissors to cut your plumbing tape, some nitrile gloves. I like using the Milwaukee, this is a 1/4 inch drive with a T30 bit to zip all the housing nuts on and off. Comes in handy. And some zip ties. So, and a pair of channel locks. This came in handy. That's to squeeze this clamp off that hose. The 10 millimeter ratcheting wrench is really handy. This is a gear wrench. Came in real handy. But overall, not hard to do if you have all the tools like I illustrated, and you have the time and patience to do it. Just take your time. You know, it's not overly hard. Just take your time and do a very, very detailed, thorough job.